All right, guys, here we go. After spring break, the third week of April, and we are talking about quadratics, but we're also looping back in some old stuff, linear, standard slope-intercept form, and also a test of exponentials. So we'll talk about what to do for that. But first, we're just going to do the new examples here. All right, so let's start with graphing quadratics in standard form. So a lot of you guys got to start this today, class. So here we have the standard form equation right here, and we want to graph it. So what we want to do is we want to figure out the vertex, and then we want to figure out one point on either side, or you can figure out the zeros. All right, so you got a choice, but you want to get that 1 point on either side, or in the computer you only need a point on one side, but on the you see that, but on the test you'll need both sides. But it's okay because it's the same distance away. We'll talk about that. So let's get the vertex. Recall it's the x coordinate is negative b over 2a. So what is our a, b, and c? A is negative 1/3. B is 2. C is negative 4. All right, so negative b is negative 2 over 2a. 2 times negative 1/3. All right, so then that would be negative 2 over negative 2 times 2 times negative 1/3 is negative 2/3. And so this is negative 2 divided by negative 2/3. So what we can do is just flip it and multiply, right? That's how you divide fractions. So now we have, and then we'll put that whole number over 1. So now it's negative 2 over 1 times 3 over negative 2. So multiply across, negative 6. Multiply across, negative 2. So the x coordinate of the vertex is at 3. How do we get the y coordinate of the vertex? We substitute. So I am doing this by hand because I noticed some people need some brushing up on order of operations. And this is a great problem to do that. So we want to multiply the exponent before we multiply the 1/3 and the 3. Do that. That's going to make it negative 1/3 times 9 plus 6 minus 4. Let's go over here. So then negative 1/3 times 9 is negative 9 over 3, or negative 3. 6 minus 4. Negative 3 plus 6 is 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So the y coordinate is negative 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to 3, negative 1. Right there. Now we just need another point on the other side. So what we can do is we can we can substitute in a number on another side. So I'm thinking about it. If I substitute in 4, I'm going to get 4 squared, which is 16. But when you multiply that by 1/3, then you're going to get a fraction. So I don't want that. So then I thought in my head, what about 5 squared? 5 squared is 25 times 1/3 is a fraction. What about 6 squared? Aha, that may work. Okay, so we're going to substitute in 6 so that when I multiply it by that fraction, I don't get a decimal because I only want integers on this graph. On paper, you can get decimals, there's no problem. But here, just a little added, thinking. So I'm going to substitute in the x value of 6 and not do that. 6 squared plus 2 times 6 minus 4. So that's negative 1/3 times 36 plus 12 minus 4. So 1/3 of 36 is negative 12 plus 12 minus 4. And so those make 0. So I get negative 4. So you have 6, negative 4. So really, if you just get that vertex, we're good to go. Now it's 6, negative 4. Okay. There we go. And then what I was saying about on the other side, if we have 6, negative 4, the 6 is how far away from the vertex? The 6 is 3 away from the vertex. So if you look, 3 away on the other side is 0. So 0, negative 4, and 6, negative 4 both have the same y coordinate. All right, so I sure am glad I got that right. All right, so that's about graphing in standard form. Get that vertex, then choose another point and graph it. Okay, so there's a word problem, sorry, refocus. A certain company's main source of income is selling cloth bracelets. Well, those would sell well this year. Everyone was wearing a lot of bracelets. The company's annual profit as a function of the price is modeled by blah. What bracelet price should the company set to earn maximum profit? So here we go. We did word problems in the other forms. So we're still looking for the same keywords. I don't know about you, but right away I saw this word. Did you see that word? And that word told me we're looking for the vertex. But then the question is, wait, do we want the x coordinate of the vertex or the y coordinate of the vertex? Well, let's look. The x represents what? You know, we have the profit and the price. Okay, so the profit is a function of the price. That means that the price is x and the profit is p of x. So that's, you want to pay attention to that wording. When something is written as a function of something else, the second thing is your independent, and the first thing is your dependent. Important. So our x value is the price. Our y value is the profit for our p of x value. But remember, we use those interchangeably. So we want the price. So we want the x value of the vertex. No problemo. That's negative b over 2a, which in this case would be negative 16 over 2 times negative 2 because of our a, b, c. Okay, so that's negative 16 over negative 4, which is 4. So the price that they should set to earn the maximum profit, according to my calculations, is 4. All right, 2 for 2. Okay, but even if I get one wrong, it's okay. It happens. The function m is given in 3 equivalent forms. Which form most quickly reveals the zeros or the roots? Well, hey, this is something I'm going to look for when I come around this week in everybody's notes, this little graphic organizer, which I will create now. Okay, so we have how many forms of a quadratic? We have standard. We have factored. And we have vertex. Right? What is standard? Ax squared plus bx plus c. Factored is ax minus m, x minus n, and vertex is ax minus h squared plus k. Make sure Mr. Field doesn't forget the squared in vertex form on the quiz. All right, so in standard form, we can, in all of these forms, we can see if it opens up or down. We just look at the a value, right? So a implies opens up or down. And I'm just going to put little marks that means repeat. So that's one thing we can see in all the forms. But in standard form, the c How many people knew the C is the y-intercept, right? The initial value. Initial value. And then in factored form, the M and the N are the x-intercepts, the zeros. And what do we know in vertex form? Of course, we know that H comma K is the vertex. It could be the max or min. All right, so what do we want to know here? The roots are the zeros. That's factored form. They're asking us to find factored form. And that's factored form. What, right? One of the zeros? Well, our choices are 3 and 9. So up 3. All right, let's just do one. Which form of the y-intercept? Standard form. You see, y-intercept is standard form right here. What is the y-intercept? It's 24. What a great assignment. All right, so the next two assignments are review. So although I was doing the review earlier this year, now it's the fourth quarter. So I'm not going to do all 12 questions here. And, I'm not going to do 17 more questions because I've had you as students for, 3/4 of a school year. So what you're going to do is go back to the organizer if you want to prepare before you take that, because you want to take this over and over again. I mean, be my guest, but it's 12 questions. So you're either going to prepare, you're going to find some ways to shortcut, which won't help you learn, or you're just going to try it and remember it. So, and then you might have to do it again. I suggest preparing. And how would we do that? Well, we, actually exponentials was the second quarter. I think, yeah. Maybe it was the third. Was it the beginning of the third quarter? Let's look. Let's just look. It's 207 pages. Wow. Okay, so looks like it was the end of the second quarter. So what you can do is go to your second quarter organizer, Clark Atlanta, Jackson State, and then, search your name and find the exponential problems and read through them and retrieve, look at the problem, think in your head if you remember it, write it down if you have to, and then look at the solution and see if you remembered it correctly. And, take time yourself, take 10 minutes to do this, and then it could save you half an hour. And you can do that for, go to the quarter one organizer and look up standard and slope intercept if you need to, and, take 5 minutes for that, and you can save yourself 20 minutes. All right, so have fun, post in the organizer, quarter four organizer, and we will continue this in class.